Time for the word on Wall Street. Top investors watching your money this morning. Joining me now, Bulltech Capital Markets Chief Strategist Kathryn Rooney Vera. Welcome, one and all. Kathryn, let me kick it off with you. Markets are looking to shake off the worst month since the start of the pandemic. The Dow and S&P 500 having their worst performance in April since March of 2020. But look at the NASDAQ, ending the month down more than 13%. That is the worst performance since the financial crisis in October of 2008. Bonds also having an awful April. The 10-year yield seeing its biggest monthly increase in more than a decade. That means prices fell. And in fact, for the first quarter, bonds suffered their worst performance since the early 80s, Kathryn. So what do you make of what is happening in bonds and stocks?
Remember, Diggin, we're in a process now called quantitative tightening. That's an undo of the balance sheet augmentation that we went through over the past more than a decade, which was really jacked up over COVID. I was just looking at some numbers in the G7 and the biggest countries in the world. This year, it's estimated that over the next 7 months, they're going to have to shrink their balance sheets. Remember, these are central banks that bought bonds, accumulated bonds over the past couple of crises, to be able to foster inflation and get the economies going. So they're going to have to shrink their balance sheets $410 billion for the rest of the year. This compares to 2021, where the G7 added to its balance sheets to the tune of $2.8 trillion, and during COVID, added $8 trillion to the gross balance sheet. So now where are we at? We are at a situation where the central banks in Europe and Japan and the US, everybody has to do the same exact thing at the same exact time. Take down their balance sheets, get rid of their bonds, and increase interest rates in an environment of economic deceleration and coming out of COVID with Russian invasion. It's a very complicated situation. I'm defensive. It's no surprise to anybody who looks at the markets that tech and consumer discretionary are not doing well. These are the sectors that historically underperform during times of inflation and rising rates. Where we want to be is in the defensive, so rotate out of cyclicals into the defensives, and you want to be long utilities, you want to be long staples, you want to be long energy, you want to be long healthcare. These are the boring, less sexy sectors. They're the ones that year to date have outperformed, and that is what I expect going in the future. Stagflation is my base case scenario. Recession risks are rising. I think that investors need to get prepared for that.
Kathryn Rooney Vera, good to see you.